Good morning, everyone. I'm Jasmine Sidhu, and I welcome you all to my yet another session of online tutorials. Today, I'll be taking up the explanation for part 3, mentioned in English book Beehive of class 9, prescribed by CBSE. The name of the chapter is The Little Girl, and this prose section has been written by Catherine Mansfield. Now, before starting with the explanation of the chapter, let me give you a brief introduction about the chapter. The story depicts the beautiful yet delicate relationship between parents and children. Children, they share a very important bond of love with their parents. Although when children are young, they feel that the parents don't love them because the parents are strict and many actions of the parents seems unjustified. But as children grow up, they realize that the parents were concerned for their well being only, and beneath the strictness lies a heart full of love for children. Now, if you see the title of this chapter, it states the little girl. Over here, the little girl is Kezia, and we'll see that all the episodes in the story describe the experiences, opinions, and observations made by Kezia. In fact, what this little girl is thinking, how she feels regarding the people around her, has been collected in this chapter. Now, what is the aim of the author penning down this chapter? What she wanted is that she wanted to convey a very, very strong message to the readers, and this message is for the children as well as for the parents. She states that the strong bond between the parents and the children has the strength to survive every type of challenge. Right? Parents need to prepare the children for the hardships of life, right, and resort to strict punishment. But at times we have seen that children, they fail to understand the true motive behind the stern actions of their parents. As a result, they develop negativity. Right. So she is trying to tell these children that we should not be negative for the actions of our parents. Rather, we need to trust them. And on contrary, what she is telling the parents, she is telling the parents that they need to understand that physical punishment at times can leave emotional scars that hampers the growth of balanced personality of their children. So the responsibility to strengthen the parent-child bond rests equally on both of them, right? The children and the parent. Now let me introduce you to the characters. The protagonist over here is Kezia. She is an emotional and sensitive girl who fears her father and develops a strong dislike for him. But towards the end of the chapter, we'll come to know that she realized her mistake, right? And she came to know that, her father is not so bad. He is not a giant as she used to think about him, right? And she understood that whatever personality or shades of life she is seeing in her father, that is actually, you know, the hidden love for the family. He loves his family, and therefore he is, there to take such strict actions so that his family should not suffer in future. Then the second important character over here is Kezia's father. He is a typical father, right? We can see fathers like this in our houses also. We can deeply connect with this story, right? He's posing a stern exterior which actually hides a soft, affectionate, and tender big heart full of love. Then the third important character over here is Kezia's grandmother. She has been depicted as a mature, understanding elder in the house, and she never questioned the authoritarian attitude of her son. Rather, she always, kept on telling Kezia to make efforts to build strong bond with her parents, right? And then Kezia's mother, she is a submissive housewife. Another character over here is Alice, the cook, then McDonald's, Kezia's neighbors, right? So if you see that we can, each one of us, we can connect with this story because the situation more or less has been portrayed in such a fashion that we experience such things in our own houses as well. Let's begin with the summary of the chapter now. The story starts with this little girl. For her, the father figure was a figure to be feared and avoided, right? So every morning when he used to go to his work, before going, he used to come into her room and he used to give a casual kiss. Casual means a customary kiss. It was, a routine for the father and the girl. There were no emotional ties attached between this action. So that's why it has been referred as casual kiss, which he used to give to Kezia, and Kezia, as a result, she used to respond with goodbye, father. Right now, when he used to leave the house, there was an amazing sense of relief when she could hear that yes, the carriage has gone, right, and ultimately the father is out of the house, because till the time he was in the house it was a tensed environment, right? So every morning this was the scene, and every evening when the father used to come down, she always used to stand near the staircases and hear to his loud sound in the hall. He used to tell the mother, bring my newspaper, bring the tea in the drawing room, take off my shoes, give me slippers, right? So she used to silently observe these things, and to have a interaction. Mother always used to call Kezia that if you are a good girl, you should come down, take off father's boots, give him slippers, right? And when she used to come to him, he was at that times ready with his spectacles to read the newspaper, and when he used to look over his spectacles towards her, that was the terrifying moment for the little girl. And the worst thing used to be when he asked any question to the young girl. She was not able to speak even a single line properly. She stuttered at that time, and she was so scared that she cannot speak properly. Otherwise, if you see, she was normally speaking with the rest of the members of the family. Even outside, when she was interacting, she was normal. She never stuttered. But when he asked her any question or any query, she started stuttering, which was irritating for the father as well, right? And when he used to give her hand over the teacup to her, she used to observe that such big hands he's having, such a big neck he's having, such a big mouth when he used to yawn he's having, and for him he appeared like a giant, right? That was basically the way the author is depicting the fear of the girl regarding her father, right? So that was the mornings and the evenings. Now what happens on the Sunday afternoons? As Sundays, they are off days, right? So the grandmother over here, she always tried to improve the relationship between the parents and Kezia. So she always used to tell on Sunday afternoons that, see, your father is in house today. You must go and sit with him, talk with your parents, interact with them. And, fearing, she used to come, she used to muster the courage, and she used to come down to sit with them. But the scene was normal. The scene was monotonous on every Sunday. And what was the scene? The scene was the father always used to stretch out on the sofa with his handkerchief on his face and his feet on one of the best cushions, and he used to sleep very soundly, and he used to snore. While the mother, she always used to sit on the sofa and she was busy reading. Now, this poor girl, she used to take up the stool and sit near them. And when the father used to wake up, he used to look at this girl, and he always commented that, Kezia, don't stare like this. You are looking like a little brown owl, right? Rather than, starting some interaction with the girl, the father was very, very authoritative, and he always used to say that, why are you staring? He had no statement or no topic to start with the girl, right? Anyhow, those were the Sunday afternoons. Then one fine day, grandmother, she told Kezia that, see, your father's birthday is approaching, and I think you should make a gift for him. And she suggested that you make a pin cushion for the gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Now this girl laboriously, she took the silk cloth, and with double cotton lining inside, she stitched the three sides, right? And almost the pin cushion was ready. But the question was what to fill into that. She kept on thinking. The grandmother was out in the garden. There was no guidance to her. She quietly slipped into her mother's room, and what she saw over there, she saw fine sheets of paper lying on the bed table. She just thought of taking them and cutting them into tiny pieces, and she stuffed those papers into the cushion and she sewed the fourth side. She wasn't aware that these sheets of fine paper can be very, very precious to her father, right? As a young girl, little girl, whatever came in her way, she took it and the gift for her father was ready, right? But that night was a hue and cry in the house. Why? The reason was that those papers which she had torn, that was actually her father's great speech for the Port Authority, right? He has to speak in this organization and he has penned down beautifully about that speech. And when the day approached for the speech was lost. The servants were questioned. Mother then came to into Kezia's room. She asked her, and to her surprise, Kezia told that, yes, mother, I just told them and I made the stuffing for my father's gift. And that was the nightmare for this little girl. That night, she was dragged down to the living hall where the father was pacing, to and fro. He was, you know, perturbed after listening that this little girl has spoiled the speech. He just shouted at the mother that you go and put her to the bed. Now, when she had put her to the bed, father went upstairs with the ruler in his hand. And at that time, when Kezia saw the father with the ruler, she was shouting, screaming, hiding under the bedclothes. But the father told that I have to teach a lesson once for all, right? And he told that the things which do not belong to you, you are not supposed to touch those things. And down came the ruler on those pink palms, right? And the poor girl, she was crying whole night. She went to the grandmother. Grandmother wrapped her in a shawl and she tried to console the young girl. But that day left an emotional scar on Kezia's mind. She felt that her father is not a good father, and whenever she used to see her father, she used to hide her hands behind herself so that he should not beat her again, right? So that was a negative impression upon the child's mind. Now, one day she was standing in her garden and she looked over the fence towards the house of McDonald's. McDonald's were the neighbors. What she observed that this couple, they were having five children and the father was playing tag game in the evening with the children. One child was on his shoulder, two girls were hanging around him, digging the flower beds, another boy was running, right? The children were nicely cuddling the father, pulling his shirt, his hair, but the father was enjoying the situation. He wasn't irritated, he wasn't scolding the children. At that point, she made a conclusion that they are different sorts of fathers. Maybe she thought that I'm not a lucky one that I have such a father. The children of McDonald's, they are lucky. That's why they have such, good father, right? But then one fine day, suddenly the mother of Kezia became very, very ill, and grandmother had to accompany her to the hospital. That day, she was left alone in the house with the cook because father he used to go for the work in the morning and he used to come in the evening. So the whole day she was alone with the cook. Now, when the night time came, right, the cook, Alice, she put her off to the bed and told that, see, don't scream, don't shout, because your poor father, he had been out for the work for the whole day and now he is resting in the next room. Don't disturb him. You just go to sleep. Though Kezia, she told that she is in habit of seeing horrible dreams. She has nightmares. But Alice, she told you sleep down calmly, right? Now when she when she lie in the bed, the same thing happened. She had a very horrible dream. And what was that dream all about? She saw a butcher with a knife and a rope which was coming nearer and nearer to her, smiling, and that was a dreadful smile on his face, right? She felt as if he'll come and cut her neck with his knife. And she was stiff in the bed and suddenly she woke up crying and shivering. Now, at that point of time, she was shouting, "Grandma, Grandma." But what she observed, she saw her father beside her bed with a candle in his hand, and he asked very lovingly, "What's the matter?" Then this young girl, she explained that, "See, I saw this dream, a butcher, a knife," and she told that, "I want to go to Granny." At that time, the father, he lovingly, he picked up the young girl, he took her to his bedroom, and he tucked up the child nicely, right? He just kept his newspapers away, and he made the child snugly lie over there, and he laid besides the girl. Now, at that moment, this girl realized that what she has been thinking about her father is not so bad, also. He is a human being, right? She realized when the father told her that, "Rub your feet against my legs and get them warm." At that time, she realized that he's tired after doing the whole day's chores, earning for the family, right? And there is no one to look after him, right? And he is here for his family. If he's earning so hard, he's working so hard, it is for the welfare of his family only. Maybe, he's not having so much of time as Mr. McDonald has. Maybe the work conditions of Mr. McDonald may be relaxing, and my father's, work conditions may be different. That doesn't mean that my father doesn't love me. And at that moment, she realized that it was her mistake, that she had torn up all his beautiful writing. So she realized, and he made her lie in the bed comfortably, and she was actually loving that feeling. She lay her head on his heart and came to know that he had a big heart full of warmth and care. She was attached to her father, and that loving touch of her father was giving her a very good feeling. So that's all in this chapter, children. I hope you might have liked my content. If you have liked my content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please ring the bell so that I could send you the notifications for my upcoming videos. Thank you so much.